So actually, Kev, you alluded to a question that I would like the newcomers to answer earlier on, which is why did you start producing this kind of content for like the internet? So educational content and the such. So if anyone wants to pick up that question and tell us why.
I'll go first on that one.
Mhm.
Especially with YouTube. So initially, the whole Blender thing, I've been doing things with SolidWorks, with SketchUp, all in the past. Found this wonderful program called Blender. Ended up going down the paywall route with Udemy, etc. More so than ever, especially with YouTube. And it comes back to some of the comments we were talking about earlier with what do the comments mean to you? What sort of content do you want to put out? If I produce a video and it helps one other person out, I'm happy. Done, dusted. And whether or not the channel ends up growing to be a massive size or it ends up being just this niche little thing that focuses on whatever I develop into with it, these things happen, and I'll just ebb and flow with it. Providing that I've helped one other person out, because I love teaching, I always have helped guide people through whatever it happens to be. I used to be in computer tech support, so can you press the Windows key? If you can do that for people, Blender's a cakewalk. It really is. So yeah, as long as people are enjoying the content and it helps one person out, that's a big tick in the box. If 15 other people don't like it, I don't care. I've helped one person out.
Awesome.
Curtis, I'm sorry. Can you just quick one sentence? What was the question?
Oh, just why did you start making stuff?
Oh, I'll pass the torch.
So all right, let's go to Erin or Agniv. One of you wants to pick this up?
Well, fun fact, Renderize was actually first started as a blog because I wanted to keep track of my journey as a 3D artist. And
Awesome.
I was just starting off and I wanted to teach people as I grow, as I learn stuff, I just wanted to teach them how I learned it and stuff. But I had an experience of video editing, and I wanted to switch to YouTube from that vlog. I only made one blog post and forgot about it totally. And 2 years later, it's Renderites on YouTube.
Nice.
I love that name, by the way. That's an awesome name.
It clicks.
I
It
really
feels
like
good.
it.
That's nice.
And it's open to any software too, which is
yeah.
good.
Yeah, that was my main goal with it. Because I love using Unreal Engine as well for some scenes, and yeah, that really helped me.
Before we move on to Erin, Josh, can you tell that bird to shut up?
Is it that loud?
I mean, it's coming.
It's pretty loud.
Really?
I mean, it's
I can barely hear it.
It's not too bad, but if you just say something mean to it, maybe it will get the idea.
I mean, it's
Here's
a nice
what I'll
ambience.
do. I'll mute the mic until I talk.
All right.
And maybe we'll do a different location, or until it's done chirping.
All right, Erin.
Sorry.
By the way, just for people that don't know, my camera's overheating. So
yeah,
it does this occasionally. So I might need to turn it off for a bit. But Erin, you want to tell us why you started making stuff?
I started making YouTube videos a long time ago. Actually, I did some time lapses of models. You know the way kids, they'll find something they can do and they're like, I'm going to share this online. So I made some time lapse videos of Blender 2.49 way back in 2009, and then I just kind of didn't do anything else. And then recently I've been posting on. So last year, last August or something, Lance Fan on YouTube posted a tutorial called Procedural Fabric Fiber in Blender, and that blew my mind. I'd never done any proceduralism then, and I was just like, this is amazing. You could do anything with this. And I just started playing around with it, putting out materials and things, and I was posting on Blender Procedural Textures Facebook page and the Blender Nodes Facebook page, and then people were just asking for tutorials basically. I kind of got up to a stage where I was putting things out every week or something on those pages, and just giving away the node groups, and people were just these could do with a bit of explanation. So I figured out doing some videos, and yeah, just trying to explain things in a basic way. So
very nice. Do you just? I saw that in some of your videos you have pictures of the node groups and stuff. Do you provide any downloads for people, or is it just imagery and stuff?
So I if I'm just doing like a node group or something, now I'll post a video of me showing what it does on YouTube, or sorry, not on YouTube. If I've just made something, I'll share it on like Twitter and Facebook, and I'll give away like a Google Drive link to the blend file for people to play with.
Yeah.
But if it's like a tutorial, I keep it as being like, you can follow this if you want it, because there's nothing gained if you just download somebody's node group. Like, you've got a product that you can use, and that's great. But if you actually want to learn the process, and the videos that I'm making, they're not really like, it's not really a material that you'd use necessarily. It's more like, here's a technique, and this is how you can learn it, and just like, here's an exercise to get there.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so I also want to ask newcomers something, because I have asked the Joshes and Jacob this before, I believe, which is long-term goals. So, say, where do you want to be in years' time? Because we haven't really had a chance to speak to the rest of you, Michael, Erin, and Agniv. Say 5 to 10 years, is this the sort of thing you want to be doing? Is this like leading up somewhere? Do you have a path, or do you just freeball it? So let's start with Michael.
Great question. Oh, what a deep one. I think that, and it is just guesswork at the moment. I'm still finding my feet, but I could imagine in the next 5 years that I will probably go down the route of having several hundred more video over 5 years. Let's say I have over 1,000 videos on the YouTube channel, and from the back of that, I'll also have proper courses, structured content, rather than the playground that is YouTube as well. And I could see YouTube almost being like a prototyping place. Oh, look, people are really interested in this type of content. Let's see if I can package it in a way that someone who's not used Blender before, or used it in this way before, can start from scratch. A lot of I've played a lot with shaders recently and learning open shader language, and it just blew my noodle how much content there is out there for it, but relies you on having 4 years of maths degree behind you before you can even dip your toe in it. I'm reading this long formula on how a normal's not normal, because that's pretty straightforward. I say pretty straightforward. It wasn't 6 months ago when I started learning it. But you look at some of the equations that some of the game designers use to make games like Team Fortress 2 or Firewatch end up looking their very unique style. And of course, you can do that sort of unique thing within Blender as well. And just being able to do that sort of thing and really ground it down and try. I don't know if it's possible at the moment, but I'd love to find out whether or not I can take someone who doesn't know anything about maths. This is just an example, of course, to actually writing their own shaders, understanding what vectors are, and how it, not just understanding what they are, but how it impacts the stuff you're seeing on the screen.
All right. Well said.
I know it's that grinding together of mathematics and art. It's really challenging to do, because in schools we're taught that they're opposite ends of the spectrum, and you're good at one and rubbish at the other. Obviously not true for everybody, but that's the general sentiment of things. If you're good at art, you're not always good at math. And I don't think people are like that. I think everybody's good at everything. You just get put in a corner when you're young, and you don't know any better.
Yeah, that's a type of content I would like to see more of, as you say, trying to like blend artistic and mathematics in a way that it's not obvious that they're separate. I've definitely struggled with mathematics to some degree. I'm good at certain types of mathematics and types of logic that relate to it. I think I'm a pretty good programmer in a lot of sense of things, but I'm terrible at mental maths. Like it's really hard for me to do like even simple multiplication and stuff like that. But I'm good at types of complex logic. I think it's because a lot of the times I approach things in a sort of linguistic way when structuring logic and stuff, because a lot of programming is instructional rather than, mathematical, depending on if you're designing algorithms. But I think there's lots of people that are also in this gray area, because it's not that simple. Some people like approach and learn mathematics like in a proper core numerical way. Some people take shortcuts to understand things, which is what I think I've done, where I'm taking a more linguistic way of understanding stuff. But I think it's good having teachers that don't try and force like a certain, stare at numbers. This is what you need to learn, and this is, how it works. If you can present things in a visual way, if you can describe it well enough, I think that's a really good synergy. So I'd like to see more content like that. So that's good to hear. So, Erin,
Me too.
what about you for the long term? Do you have any ideas, or are you just freeballing it?
With the Everything Nodes project, is going to be sort of integrating procedural modeling more into Blender, and that's the same guy who developed animation nodes, isn't it? I'm fairly sure.
Jack's Luke.
Yeah. So my degree is interior design, and I work in retail design, and so I'm much more like on the architectural side, and I'm interested in archiviz and stuff. And then obviously awesome. I've got all my friends who are doing like Grasshopper with Rhino and doing all that like parametric modeling with an architecture. So if I can get my skill up to a level and I can teach it up to a level where I can basically be showing people how to use Blender as an architectural tool, for architectural design as well as rendering. Because I think it's got like a lot of capability. We have some like issues with importing like CAD stuff and dealing with like IFC classes, but
I was talking about that the other day. It's just like I'm hoping Blender can eventually come to like appeal to more architects and stuff. So
yeah,
definitely that's a good path to go down because it's kind of scarce right now.
We're getting more tools in like 2.9 as well, like push-pull modeling.
Yeah,
so it's like
yeah, definitely.
We're going the right way, I think, for doing that. So,
all right, lovely. Okay, so Agniv, long term, got any ideas?
Yeah, well, I'm still pretty young right now, and in 5 years I'll probably be in a university. But I still plan on keeping Renderize going as a side hobby or something like that. But I'm planning on releasing some courses, basically, which will be like a bridge between the beginners and the intermediate, or the intermediate and the advanced level users. Well, yeah, that's about it. Nothing much.
No,
really,
that's
just
fine.
freeballing at the moment.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just freeballing. I have no idea what I'm gonna do. Right.